Okay. And we're going live. As my coaster flies off my desk. What's going on today? What's going on with everything today? And I'm out of coffee. That's the way to start a stream. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. CaptainShack here, and welcome to another stream. We're going to be playing some Life is Feudal today. And today is a special short stream because the flu is kicking my butt. If you've been wondering where I've been for the last couple of days, desk is a mess. Yeah, Tabby got me sick. Yes, I'm blaming you, Tabby. I know you're out there. It's all your fault. Boy. So, we're going to be talking about, since today apparently is the Steam release, surprising everyone, we're going to be talking about some of the things that I wish I had known when we first started playing Life is Feudal. And I don't mean like the old original servers, I mean the MMO, because we've been playing for a bit now. Dutch Devil 45, thank you so much for becoming a sponsor. So, well, let's go into some of the basics. First thing, when I asked the Discord on like, what is it that that you wish you would have known before you made your character, and there was this chorus of everybody going Slinger as the first thing, because apparently, and I'm not an archer, so I don't care. Let me get rid of this old crappy shovel. Apparently, Slinger as a grind is the worst thing ever, and if you choose the right race and the right skill setup, you can have 60, I think it's like 55 or 60 Slinger, some ridiculously high number, and skip out on one of the worst grinds ever. So if you're interested in being an archer, make sure you go through those and you take Slinger for the proper race. I don't remember which one it is. You could just go through it real quick, switch through the different races, jump down to your skills, and you'll actually be able to see which one's higher. The reason being, Slinger, if I open up my menu here, combat menu, and we look at, Slinger, here we go. If you take Slinger, you need to get 60 Slinger so you can max out the rest of these. That's the pre-requirement, right? So at 30 of this, you can bring this one up to Archer up to 29.9. But now, if you start a character that already has almost like 60 Slinger, as much as you can get, you can skip most of that grind and jump right into doing archery. And as of this morning, I got to use the crossbow a little bit for the first time in PvP with my other character. It is a stupid amount of fun. I was doing 60 damage with the starting crossbow with starting skills. And yeah. It's good. It's a lot of fun. PvP is actually quite a bit of fun in this, so. All right, that's the big one that everybody wanted to talk about. Let's talk about more of the more generic things. When you're first getting into the game, I've got my list here on the side, and the first thing that I wanted to talk about was item quality. Now, this goes across the board. It's not something that we had originally realized at the beginning. Everything from the gear that you're holding, I actually want to go into one of these new houses that we've got, but the gear that you're holding from the sword in your hand to the shovel that you're using to dig these gigantic trenches or plant trees or whatever. I'm gonna pop in here real fast. Nice, let's go upstairs. To the buildings that you're building, all have a certain level of quality, and that quality is actually based on, isn't there like a balcony? It's actually based on the material that you're using and the skill that you have to make it and or refine it. So, if you've got a high materials prep skill, for instance, and you're prepping stone for a wall, as an example, or for a house, the higher quality that stone is because your material prep skill is so high, and then the quality of the material that you have found will equal a certain percentage of that item's health, or that building's health. We ran into this with our walls in the original Armitage City, where our walls had like no health to them. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. They had like no health to them because we built them when we first started with crap level skills, horrible quality materials prep, and so those early walls would have to have all been replaced because they were just terrible. Same thing with swords. If you're building a sword or like an axe for cutting down trees, boom, axe. The durability, not how much damage it does, but the durability is based on the quality of the crafting materials that you're using and the quality of the crafter's skills that he's using to build it up. So that's how item quality works. Now this also works interestingly, kind of ties into how the food system works. How many people have moved up here? There's like 1,000 beds up here. Oh, not really any. Only one bed up in the attic right now. Huh. So food quality actually works a little bit differently. So when you make food and you make it out of high quality components, the coolest thing about it is this is how you get your skill up pretty quickly. You're gonna wanna find the highest quality food, and then there's how many ingredients that food has in it. So at 2 quality, let's say you've got 90 nature's lore, which is what I have. There you go, 90 nature's lore. So you're able to pull sticks off of trees, and they'll be quality level 90 if they came off of a high quality tree that you've grown. And then you go fishing, or one of your hunters goes out and they've got 90 hunting, and they bring back some really high quality fish. You can combine those two and make quality 90 2 ingredient food. The higher the quality is, we pop on over to this right here. The higher the quality is, the higher your food quality will go up, and more XP will get. It's kind of like a multiplier for the XP growth. So you want to get that like 5 ingredient food with the highest quality, and you'll notice your skills when you're training fly up substantially faster. In Life is Feudal, you gain skill by doing the thing that you want to get better at. So for nature's lore, me, taking gathering herbs for the herbalists, or popping sticks for now, as of yesterday's patch, the archers who are trading, they'll get higher quality arrows because you can make trading arrows now out of sticks as of yesterday. I have not messed around with it, but that's the way you do it. So you eat that good quality food. You can pop a power hour, which is what this button is right here. If you've got a subscription, I've already used mine for the day. This button will light up, or you can buy them individually off the store. They're fairly cheap, and what this does is it doubles your XP gain for 1 hour, and you get 1 for crafting and 1 for combat, which I'm already maxed out on my combat skills, which I'm reworking these. Still kind of figuring out where I want to sit in combat, but there's the basics for your XP growth. Now, the other thing that I didn't know when I made my character originally, I was just like, you could actually watch the video of me making my character, my main. I was like, let's just throw some points into some stuff. Strength, right? That's like damage with a melee weapon. Why not? It's not, by the way. If we hit P, we go to our, actually we're already on the map. The characteristics, you can just put your mouse over them and you can see exactly what each one of these do. And in PvP, I found agility is far more important than most of the other stats because it is your movement speed. How quickly you can move around the battlefield, dodging blows, especially if you're in one of the laggier servers, it's quite effective. You'll see a lot of troll builds where they're just maxing out agility so they can run circles around you. Let's see, what else you've got? Constitution is fairly straightforward. This is going to be your hard and your soft hit points. The one that surprised me the most was agility for movement speed, which it'll tell right here. Also, movement speed is based on what you're wearing, so if you take your chest piece off or some of your other gear, you'll find that you'll move a little bit faster as you run around. Also, if you're going into battle, don't carry your tools on you that you're not going to be using. Those are also weighing you down. If I grab these off of here, watch my movement speed. Okay, that one didn't go up all the way, but if I take off my shield, I've already taken my chest piece off just so I can move around while I'm doing stuff. 97 without my large shield, so these all make a bit of a difference. And you'll definitely notice you're wearing that heavy plate like I am. Put on the chest piece, you're going to be so slow, so slow. So that's the stats. You can look over what they do. Intelligence will give you extra skill points. Like one of the last streams I did, I had 40 something in this. It gave me a ton of extra points for my skills. So if you're going crafting and you want to do a couple of different professions, that might be a way to kind of weasel into one of the lower grade ones if you wanted to get some extra points. Let's see, we got a couple of messages here. Hey, Shaq, I should be recovering the package between, off topic, guys. Wrong series. Let's see, so we talked about slinger skill. One of the quickest ways, if you want to do archery, get a character with high slinger so you can skip that horrific grind. It's so bad. The most important other thing that everybody screamed to me on Discord that I should share to the world is there's a bug in the game where if you're near, let's run outside. If you're near somebody who is shoveling or hammering, particularly hammering for me, when they're building a building or they're doing road work, that the sounds can get stuck in a loop, a constant loop. And is he floating? Whoa. No, he's standing on the wall. And the way you could fix this, instead of restarting the game, and a lot of people do a soft disconnect. How do I get down from here? I've already gotten lost again in these houses. Is you can type in a console command, and there's a couple of cool console commands, but the biggest one that you should probably know about, Control tilde will open up your console command, and type in, let's see, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to even see this on YouTube, SFXINIT. Write it on a sticky note or something, SFXINIT. Sound effects initialization is basically what it is, and it will reset all the sounds going on around you and stop the loops, meaning it will, without having you disconnect, fix all of those Freaking sounds, those that just bugged. Like when you're getting off your horse, sometimes that'll bug out and you'll constantly hear somebody getting on and off their horse. That's the quickest way to fix it. Speaking of commands and things to put in, I actually didn't write this one down, but thinking about it now, if you hit Control F10, you can actually move around all of the hotbars. And if you drag from the hotbar at the bottom here, you can actually make new bars out of the numbered ones you've got at the bottom. I didn't know about this for the longest time, and now I've got all my emotes ready to go, or I can have quivers of crossbow bolts now that I've made an alt with the archery ability, which is fantastic. I can have those ready to go, so as soon as he runs out of the 20 that he's got on him, hit the button, he'll immediately equip the next 20, and you can have that on a bar up here. I'm not playing that character right now, but that's how that works. Let's see, what else am I forgetting about for new characters? If you guys have any suggestions on what a new character just coming in from Steam right now, because a lot of people are downloading this. We were saying there was like 600 people on the newbie server. That means they're progressing to the main servers. What would you want to tell them with all of your hours of experience at this point? What would you tell those new, fresh characters? Other than run away, don't let this game take over your life. Game music is a bit too loud. Okay, let me turn it down. Everything got reset for some reason. Maybe it was in the last patch, but here, let me walk outside here. Go for a little bit of a walk. All right. Moving on, we've got, went through the commands, at least the big one. There's another one, and I don't have that one written down, where you can remove your fog, and that's why we can see for days right now, because there's no fog. You can type it into console command. I'll put that one in the description, because I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. So let's go with the next one, weapon maintenance. So one of the things that drove the Logco crazy early on when we first started the guild was that new players would come up and say, can I have a practice sword? I want to train on a practice dummy and get my experience up. And they'd be given a couple of practice swords to go train, or maybe they were training against somebody else. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And they would just, as soon as they would break, get down to 0 durability, which I don't actually have a training weapon on me because I haven't been doing any training recently. As soon as I got to 0 durability, say this was a practice sword, and it's currently at 86 out of 101. This is just one of the random ones I pulled out of the crate. Once they hit 0, you can't use the sword anymore. It de-equips it. Well, you could use your weapon maintenance skill, maintain equipment, and build it back up. Now, depending on where your weapon maintenance skill is at, it's going to use up a little bit of the total durability of it. Now, since it's a training weapon, when you're using one of those, you can just keep doing that until the training weapon is completely done and toss it. And it's no big loss. But people were dropping practice swords on the ground and just walking away from them, still having 90% of their usability left in them, and then they would despawn. And it takes time to grow those trees and make those, and gather that plant fiber and make those practice weapons and then hand them all out. So it was really driving Logco crazy, and I had to do this whole, like speech, don't waste resources, and explain that to people. So weapon maintenance. Also, once you get to, I want to say 30 in weapon maintenance, it's one of the general skill. No, it's a combat skill on the bottom. Once you get to 30 weapon maintenance, it allows you to repair shields. So that's kind of nice. Keep your shields, you can fix them back up. Eventually, as you go up through the weapon tree, you'll be able to apply poison to one-handed weapons, which seems pretty badass, to be honest. And if you're repairing most of your guild's equipment, you'll level up weapon maintenance pretty damn fast. So, will you find, is solo possible in this game? Totally possible. A challenge. I would get friendly with some local guilds so you can do some trading, which is actually probably the next thing we should talk about, which is the trade post. Let's run over. Now, the way that respawning works in this game is that you have to bind yourself to a house. These are huge 25-man houses, right? Fairly expensive. They take special material called regional materials, regional wood that goes into the door for them so you can make them, meaning you have to trade with other regions, which are like other server tiles spread around the map. There are maps online. You can find out what regions those are at. It's supposed to help, I believe, make it so people want to trade between the different regions. So if, say, somebody in the deserts builds a house like this, and once they put it down, depending on what random region resource they need, it'll say, well, you need a door from a certain wood that comes only from the frozen tundra somewhere. And so they'll have to either go there and find some or trade for some, get their hands on it before they can build these houses. Ours wasn't too bad. I think one of ours was like Central Plains or one of the other sort of south, but not crazy south, like Desert South. So anyways, that's how those are built. But if you want a respawn point, so when you die, you don't randomly spawn on the gigantic map where you're running for 6 hours. You're going to want to build like a crap shack or one of these houses, right-click it, claim as your home, and you'll be able to, well, poof, right back to your house when you die. And if you've got skill insurance, it's not that bad of a loss. Meaning PvP is kind of fun, and you don't have to constantly worry about dying. I honestly really recommend people get into some PvP because it's a blast. It really is fun. All right, so let's go over to the trade post. Let's talk about trading because this system is probably the wonkiest and the hardest to describe over Discord how to use it properly. So this is a trade post. Turn off my UI. There you go. Pretty simple building. You have to be friendly with a guild to use one of these. A lot of guilds will open them up to you. They'll put you on the list to use them if you talk to their leadership, depending on if they're just attack neutrals on site or, you know, friendly. That's why I say if you're going to try to play solo, find a friendly guild that doesn't mind you living kind of nearby so you can use a trading post because you're going to need to get gold to maintain your personal claims, which protects your stuff from the random PKs and griefers and shit like that. So, all right, trading post. If we click it, you go into the trading post, you can go to, well, here's your basic trading post menu. Now, one of the cool things about the trading post, once you get one in your city, is it works as a personal storage. You don't need a private claim to have personal storage, just access to a trading post, and you can store shit in here. I can throw in freaking shovels if I wanted to, some shitty primitive shovels that we made real fast, or my food in here. I can even store if you've got the cargo capacity, which changes based on whether or not you're a subscriber, and I believe if you've got any gold in there and willing to pay the maintenance for it. But how do you get gold, right? Because gold isn't minted by the kingdom that you live in, it's minted by the NPC kingdom, which resides in the center of the map. You can actually claim the houses there, so I'm told. I've actually never been over there. But how do you get coins? So what you have to do is you have to make something worth trading to the crown. Hey, Hurricane, thanks for the $5 donation. Finally caught you live on Life is Feudal. Also, disabling fog is considered an exploit by the devs, and they are threatening bans. All right, so don't use that command. I was unaware that was a thing. If it's an exploit, why is it a console command? Because that's ripping through the community like wildfire right now. Interesting. I always figured fog was just something that keeps your FPS down if you disabled it. But okay, don't do that. If Hurricane is saying that's the thing, I'll have to re-enable mine. I just found out about the command this morning. Interesting. Anyways, so the way that you get coins, you have to make something worth trading to the crown. I think there's some lists online, but all the ones that I've run into so far have been questionable at best. It's better if you just experiment. Depending on what your profession is, if it's obviously if it's a crafting profession, you'll be able to sell certain things. Practice weapons, I've been told, is really good if you're a carpenter. If you're really hard up, you could potentially sell building logs, but they don't give you much, and they're more valuable normally for buildings or for holding up mine shafts. But you can sell them for, I think, like 40 copper. But it's probably better to turn those into practice weapons because they're fairly easy to make for most professions. I think miners can sell iron. But what you do is, I don't actually have anything that I can sell here currently. These are actually believers' tools at the moment. Well, what you would do if I had something for sale, I knew I was going to forget something for the prep for this. You throw your item inside the trading post. Now, you can sell to either players or you can sell to the crown. If you want coin, you're probably going to sell to the crown. Go to market. Once you put your item into its storage container, you go put up for sale. This is how you buy things. Here's put up for sale. Now, first thing you've got to do, though, and this is really weird, even though you've walked into a trading post, you still have to choose that trading post in the list, meaning you have to go through this massive lists of all of the trading posts in the world and try to find the one that you are at. So take the name off the top. Armed to Trade Empire is the one that I'm currently in. Scroll down until you find it. I have no idea where we are on this list right now, probably at the very bottom somewhere. I recommend you use middle mouse wheel and not the scroll wheel or the scroll bar, because the scroll bar kind of derps up. Oh my goodness, have that many trade posts gone up since we built this thing? Find the one you're in, wherever ours may be. I don't actually know, so we're just going to use a random one because these aren't in any kind of order other than I think the first time they were built. Yeah, who knows where ours are. We're just going to click one. So we'll go to the Royal Trading Company, and it's totally spazzing out. Come on now. Oh my goodness. market. This is why I say that it's really, really derpy. Because you'd think it would just pull up the trade post that you're in, but you click it, go to the one that you're in. Once you find it, and it would take me forever to find it, you can go put up for sale, and it will actually say what items that you put in there that they're willing to sell. So if we go to, what is that? It's a shovel. So crafting, not crafting tools. We want process material, no raw material. It would be just tools. It would be a shovel, and it'd be a primitive shovel. So if we were looking under the proper trade post, it would show my shovel. I can't sell that because it's a crap shovel. Nobody's going to want to buy that. Nobody's going to, the crowd won't take it for coins, but if it would allow me to, I'd be able to put it up for sale. I'd be able to click a tab that said sell to the crowd and then just sell it. And it'd give me a default amount. The amount is based on the quality of the item too, so you may see that the credits actually towards the bottom cap. Yeah, it wasn't really letting me scroll through any farther for some reason, so we're not gonna mess with it right now. But that's how you sell stuff. Pretty basic. You can also buy stuff. I know one of the guilds a little bit farther to the south was selling some horses the other day for a decent amount of silver. It's a little buggy, and I hope that they refine this system, but it is the best way, the only way to get coin, except for trading with other players directly. And there's tons of stuff you can sell. I mean, tons of stuff. There's somebody actually going in there right now to sell some stuff. I like using it for a bank for the city. I mean, just storing crap in there, and they all have their own private storage, so. Let's see. I already talked briefly about food quality and XP gain, about how the more ingredients food has, the higher that skill gain will be, and then the quality of the food itself, so you'll notice you'll get a higher multiplier for it. I talked briefly about power hours, how to get your skill up fast. Also, when you're doing power hours, prep beforehand. A lot of guys talked about this. They would pop their power hour when they were just doing a basic, whatever they're doing, but prep beforehand. Get all your supplies for the whole hour and then blast through your power hour, getting as much of that skill gain as possible. So if you're carpentry, you know, get all that lumber ready to go. Pop your power hour, eat good food, and then just start cranking out whatever item it is that you want to do to gain that skill faster. Probably the fastest way of doing it. How did you like the new characters for Critical Role? Not there yet. I haven't watched it. I'm watching it on YouTube because it was far too late for me because of this damn flu. Oh, so speaking of power hours and gaining skill, if you're going to be gaining skill, you can actually... oh, I gotta move my shield over to my right-hand side. Speaking of gaining skill, so if you want to maximize your skill gain for combat training and you want to hang out with a friend, especially you always want to be playing this game with a buddy, get yourself some practice shields, particularly if your friend is doing swordsmanship, and whack on their shield. You'll notice that you'll get like 2 times the experience if you're attacking somebody's shield. So if you're training together, instead of just training and smacking a practice dummy over and over and over again, you know, I don't have a practice dummy here because we just moved into this area, but if I was sitting there swacking at a practice dummy over and over, I'd get some experience. If it's somebody holding their shield though, plus the XP modifier for the food, plus the power hour, you're gonna see your XP start shooting through the roof, and you'll be able to gain, you know, that master swordsman or two-hander or slinger or whatever a lot faster. So just bear in mind, you can smack the person that's holding the shield if you're not careful where the angle of that hit is coming from. And you only want to do that with practice weapons. If you do it with a sword, you're likely to kill someone. All right, so 95,000 views for Critical Role. Oh, man. Oh, I can't wait to see what their characters are. I'm so pumped. It is. Totally off topic. Sorry, guys. Speaking of skills, a lot of players were a little confused by this system. If you've never played Ultima Online... what the hell?
Hell, I'm glad
Hello.
to welcome you.
So if you've never played Ultima Online and you've never used a skill system like Life is Feudal has, if I go under here, you can actually set your skills to go up, which is the default, meaning as you do whatever you're doing, like I'm doing some farming, my farming skill will go up. But say I'm done grinding and farming. I'm not going to be a farmer. I don't want that to go up anymore. I'll lock it. Or maybe I've hit my skill cap of 400 and something, and I find out, you know what? I don't want to do any farming, any nature's lore. I want to do all construction. I've decided to change my character fundamentally all the way to the end of architecture. Well, you can actually set your skills to go down if you're at your max skill cap, and then these skills to go up and start rebuilding your character that way. As one skill goes down, as long as you're a skill cap, the other skills go up. Apparently this was a surprise to a lot of people. They thought, oh man, I gotta be real careful how I gain my skills. Now you can move shit around. You can also move stuff around on your characteristics. So I'm actually doing that right now. I'm moving some willpower over to agility and strength because I want to use a two-handed weapon. You may find if you want to use those longbows, which I think is like 60 strength or something, you may have to move some stats around substantially. If you want to use those big two-handed weapons, 45, 46 strength is required to use those. So, and strength does not apply to melee damage. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 95% sure that's true. Unless something has changed, which things always seem to be changing. Like we're now doing 4 judgment hours a week on Life is Feudal on our server. Because that's a new thing. Alright. Whoop. Character's freaking out. Let's see if I forgot anything else. I wanted to be a quick stream video for this. So people can use this as a reference. Leveling up, prepping before you level up, before you pop your power hour. Definitely a must. How to use a trading post, how to do the sound effects. Oh, I don't think I actually talked about this yet. Control F10. If you play at an ultra-wide monitor, you're going to love this. It's your ability to lock and move all your menus around. I may have already talked about this, but I can move all this stuff around and customize my menu how I want it to be. You can lock them in place. You can make them invisible when you hit tabs. When you go into walk mode, I don't actually see all my emotes. That's Snowman. Indeed. I don't know what's happening back here, but indeed. Shack, the rebuilding the Mighty Steve Armages as product. It has progressed. It's progressed quite a bit. I mean, our better skills now, we burned down our city in the last stream, are far higher. So we're seeing the cities grow, and it is going quite well. No crap shacks around here. We're going full on. So I will show you guys a proper tour coming soon, as soon as I can talk properly. Boy. All right. Leveling, trading posts, slinger skill. It's all pretty good. I think that's kind of the basics of getting started with Life is Feudal. There's a lot to it. I mean, you're gonna find a lot of skills like I'm gonna drive my stream crazy because I'm about to equip another shitty shovel. Apparently, I was running around with one of these in a stream, and my guild was like, "Why doesn't he have a metal shovel? What is he doing?" Well, these are convenient. Terraforming. If you've never done terraforming in this, and chances are if you're joining a guild in this, you're probably going to end up doing some terraforming pretty quickly. If you have a shovel equipped on your back, and you hit F3, you'll be able to open up your observation mode. You'll be able to actually see what height every one of the blocks are from sea level. So at 0, you're going to be at the ocean line. At 43, like I am right here, we've got some rough terrain, some snow. Now, this works for snow, dirt, clay, ore, rock. These are all things that you can dig. Now, the interesting thing about this is that those materials will actually have a different slope depending on what the material is. So, see, this is like a pile of snow right here at 41.5. Now, if I wanted to keep building this up, I wanted a sheer wall, snow's not very good for that. Rock is even worse. It'll start crumbling down and actually start piling up on our road right here. So if you want to have like a sheer cliffside, the best material to use for that is going to be clay, because it'll stack, it'll hold tighter together if you're trying to make a base for a building or something. We actually ran into this. I'll show you guys over here. We actually ran into this over here where somebody was trying to level this top part out. If I run up to this top, see how these green tiles are actually leveled and flattened. These aren't. Somebody tried to level these with iron ore, I think, earlier. I think we had a new player trying to do it with iron ore or sand, which is even worse. And it collapsed. It collapsed onto the road, and now somebody has to come back through here and flatten these out. I don't think I'll be able to flatten this out because I think there's material piled up above it, but we can try. You look down at the ground spot. I'm standing on a tile of... actually, let's go over here to a more rocky area. This will be easier to see. Say, for instance, this guy's doing it right now, actually. Or he's going to fist fight me, one or the other, not quite sure. Say I want to flatten this out. Now, I'm sitting at a 41.2. That's the block I'm standing on. And I want to level this out to 41.2. It's a 41.3. I stand on the tile that I have at the height that I want. I look over. Bye. I look over at the one that I want to flatten, right-click it, use shovel, and flatten ground. Now, if I got to do a lot of this right now, he's got a snowball. I'm 3 feet from you and you missed, you make me sad. If you right-click the menu options here, you can make it your default. So every time I click now, I am flattening ground. And my character will flatten the square he's looking at to the level that I'm standing on. And that's the basis for terraforming. Do it again. I just got 21 fertile soil for some reason. I don't know why we had fertile soil over here. And boom, flat spot. And that's how you're able to build buildings on top of that square that you've just made. And different buildings have different, you can look it up on the wiki, like how big the base is. So if we wanted to build a big ass building down there, which we've got plenty of space for, we could do so. If you hit F4, this is the other control that you're gonna wanna know about. This is the realm claim area. So you can see who owns what where. That little tiny sword over there is actually a personal claim. That big ass sword over there is a city claim. The monument. So if you're brand new, that's what a monument is. If everybody says, come meet me at the monument like I'm always doing, that's where you go. You'll notice that I'm running a little bit faster on these flattened areas, and it's not because they're flattened, it's because they've been paved by a construction worker. I go about 25% faster on these because they're actual roads. Roads can be made out of a variety of materials. The better materials will make you go even faster. Was it slate or marble that we were on, where it was like a bat out of hell with the carts? Speaking of carts, there's only a certain grade they can go up forward. They can go up a higher grade backwards, weirdly enough, but it's super slow. It's really painful to watch. I do not recommend it. So yeah, that's the basics of it. And you can get into more advanced terraforming techniques later on, like I said, grading stuff, so it's on a sharper incline, having to deal with rock. Like, we've got a lot of stone up here. This can't be dug out with a shovel. It has to be dug out. That was another. You haven't hit me yet. Oh, that's it. That is it. Come here. Where are you going? Come here. Come on. Don't you run from me. I will shield bash you. All right. I'm getting distracted. Showing them the new Armitage I see. Hey, Saxon. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm giving a little tour of Armitage. I'm talking about some of the basics since we got a lot of new players coming in. I'm trying to remember all the things that I wish I would have known before we started. Actually pretty happy with it. Okay. Is there anything else that I can think of? Terraforming, mining. Oh, but we were talking about the rock. So stone, if I run up here, you're going to see these around as people start mining up more and more of the countryside. If you're a miner, you want to start finding iron for your guild and building those steel weapons and those iron weapons. You're going to do a lot of this mining, and I think this was just a stone quarry for the roads, but these are mines. Now, you can't dig this with a shovel, but you can dig a tunnel if you've got a pickaxe. If I find my pickaxe on me, there she is. Pickaxe on me. This is one of the Believer tool packs. These suckers last a hell of a long time. But you can sit here and you can shop at... Go ahead and equip one of these. Shovel dight. Oh! It's a proper shovel. We can sit here and we can pick at the sides and get... I don't really want to go in here because it could collapse. Dig tunnel forward. I could sit here and I could pick all day. It'll put stone in my inventory, and as we do this, it'll slowly make these kinds of tunnels. Now, the trick is, if you don't have supports for these, they'll degrade and collapse, leaving a bunch of, I think it's like rock and soil. A bunch of rock and soil that'll have to be shoveled out. It'll take a couple days to do it in-game. If I right-click this and go to inspect, it should tell me, no. Is it the ground? I'm not a miner, so give me a minute. It should tell you how many days it's going to last for. This will collapse in 6 days. All right, so this is going to last quite a long time. But this is how you dig deep and you find those rich ore veins, pulling up gold and silver and iron and all that. Good grief. So you're going to get better and better at that. Just be careful going into these. If you're not a miner, you can. I've gotten stuck in some that have collapsed once. It gets a little claustrophobic in here. I think we got some iron ore in here, too. Sweet. Iron everywhere up here. Lots of iron, no food. Let's see. What else are we forgetting, guys? Can you live in a tunnel? You cannot, and everybody has to build inside a tunnel, and the tunnels collapse. And you can shore them up, sure, but eventually they will collapse. So that's kind of a thing. That was another... I see you down there. You missed. I was hiding to the left. Still missed. God, I hope you're not one of our archers. Oh my goodness. Now, This video may be a bit dated by the time you're watching this if you're watching it after the fact, because this game is getting updates like every day, every other day. Things have changed. We just had a major change to PvP. The server's gone far more PvP than it was before. We're getting 4 judgment hours now instead of just the one on Saturdays. The one on Saturdays, I think, is getting like 2 hours instead of 1. Something crazy like that. At the moment, as I understand it, everything inside the dark green circle in the center can't be damaged during judgment hour. Everything in the region circle, the dark green is the town, the regional circle, can be damaged during judgment hour, or what we call the purge. You can also attack people all willy-nilly on judgment hours without any kind of karma loss, which is your piety loss on the right-hand side, and that dictates whether or not you're a criminal and how much skill you'll lose when you die. You get that number up by using the pray button. And I've already done this today. You find that, because I don't actually think it's on your bar by default, under your generic skills, so go up to the guy carrying a moose. Under your minor skills, find the 2 hands, and that is gonna be your prey. What in the world? I'm gonna stab somebody. I'm getting ready to stab somebody. I don't know who, I don't know where, somebody's getting stabbed. How CPU intensive is it? I couldn't answer that. My rig is definitely not one to go off of. So I'd recommend looking at the basic requirements of the game. So I don't want to go in case it collapses, proceeds to go in it. Yeah. Back into the mines. Anything else, guys? Let me scroll through the list. I'm sure you guys have come up with some better heads up. Thank you, mods. Appreciate you keeping everything. Don't try to go solo. I think you could make a run of it solo if you learn to play the game. I think you could. You just got to make friends, get a neutral, friendly area that doesn't mind trading, and set up near but not on their territory. Make sure you make some deals with them. Get on their friends list, their friendly list, so you can use their trade post, so you can make some money, so you can maintain your personal claim. It's just better with people. It's far better with more people, in my opinion. All right, say Freelancer Tex45 says, "Hey Cap, I'm back from Cali now. Cup of coffee on me. Thank you so much." Is that for Deer Shack during the Clone Wars campaign? Keep in mind that you're when this isn't Clone Wars we're talking about right now. Appreciate the donation though. Towards the bottom, that was the trading post. Hey Shack, know if it's possible to play against others in Empire War? All the questions that don't have nothing to do with this. Yes, it is. It depends on the mod you're playing, but there was a recent patch for Empire War to play it, so. I think that's basically it. If you die, you'll pop back at your spawn point as long as you've got a home. What in the world? Somebody just got stabbed. I want to fight. Was that in the house? I think Mistral just killed somebody inside that house. Also, when you're inside a claim and say an enemy's outside, here's the trick. Close the door. Keep your doors closed, because enemies can run in, but they can't open the door. And if you lead one in, like I did this morning, close the door, they can't get out. They're gonna have to pray out. If you ever get stuck, by the way, this is another good thing. You do have the /stuck command. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but it'll start doing this timer, and you'll bounce out of the claim and the building that you're stuck in, or the tunnel you're stuck in, and they'll actually teleport you out. What's going on? Is there like a fist fight going on in here? Maybe it's upstairs. I want to know who's stabbing who.
It is.
I should probably look at the local chat.
You frightened me.
I don't know what's going on anymore. I just don't know. At least you don't get one shot by rocks that guy's throwing. If this were Skyrim, I don't want to talk about it, Nyrock. I know, Dova goat. Funny enough, Tabby almost died to a goat on our first trip out here to the north. Up into the snow. Now, the one other thing that's different about this MMO than any of the other ones that I've played in a long time is that, I'm just gonna rub against you guys, don't worry about me. Notice there's collision boxes. I can't run through these guys. They're probably like, what is he doing? Stop rubbing up on me, Shaq. There are collision boxes, meaning if you're playing in formations, I'm really looking forward to doing more of this, you can set up shield walls and block areas. You can also make spike walls with spears and pike weapons, which is kind of what's unique about this game. A lot of MMOs shy away from this, and you'll notice you just walk right through people because you can kind of troll people with having a collision box on player characters, right? But they actually do this for the PvP. Earlier today, we were attacked by a group of players. I got to use my crossbow on somebody for the first time on my ult that I just made. The damage is amazing. And they actually tried to box me in, and I had to find every avenue to escape. So we had 5 versus 1, and they're trying to get this like U shape around me, move in formation as best they can, while trying to get their pole arms close enough to me to kill me. And I'm just sidestepping, dipping, dodging. The crossbow, super powerful, but when you reload it, and I'm on the wrong character to show this, you stop moving, and it's like a freaking 8-second reload time on this thing. So, coffee is shack fuel? You're damn right it is. Coffee. So, you know, trying to stop and reload my crossbow is a no-go. I've got to find a safe place and reload, or have somebody blocking for me while I reload. But super worth it. Super worth it. But yeah, those formations, that kind of teamwork and that voice comm teamwork really, really matters. So, all right, guys. That was the... I don't know, why am I still in this house? That was the top... I don't know, I must have done like 20 of them. 20 things I wish I would have known as a new player. If I can think of anything else. Oh, yeah, so your stamina bars. As a brand new player, you may notice that you've got the 3 bars. You've got your health, your stamina, and your hunger bar. Now, this isn't new to anybody who's ever played a survival game. There's a little bit of a difference, though. Your health is actually 2 separate bars. You notice I've got 2 numbers there. Soft health, hard health. Hard health goes down to 0, you're dead. Soft health drops down, and you'll notice this during practice matches, where if you've probably seen a couple of streams that I've already done. You're doing a duel, a couple of wooden swords, that soft health drops, you pass out. If they're using a bludgeoning weapon, they'll be doing a lot of soft health, you'll pass out, and then you can be killed pretty easily. Your stamina, though, unless you go through the whole tutorial to figure it out, your hard stamina will drop down. Let's go ahead and sit down. As you work fields, dig holes, anything that you're doing will slowly decline that pool until it gets to 0, and you won't really be able to do anything. So that's when you got to sit down and have a rest. Sit someplace, relax, sit on a bench to get a bonus to it. I hope they add more furniture so we can get more bonuses. That goes for outdoor stuff, but you'll actually get your stam regen will go up, but it will start burning through your food. Notice my food is dropping pretty quickly. My hunger bar, which if you've got high quality food, will actually fill up faster. So this is 43 fried salmon, pretty crappy. If this was like quality 93 ingredient, you'd notice my bar just shoot straight up. Pretty good. Can you fish? Yes, you can. It's under the hunting skills. It's actually probably the fastest way, I believe, to get up hunter. I'm not a hunter though, so you'd have to talk to the hunters. This location is beautiful. I absolutely love the mountainous, snowy area. I love what it does to the buildings, too. Seasons do change in the game, and that changes how things grow. It affects how your crops will grow. What I have noticed is that it doesn't seem like forest soil affects tree growth. When you're trying to grow your trees, you'll notice we've got a little bit of a tree farm over here in the corner. Those are more based on what region you're in, how fast they'll grow. Certain regions are better for certain types of trees. I don't know the details on that. I'm working on forestry, but I'm not quite there. And trees take, depending on what kind of tree, I think it's like juniper grows the fastest and oaks grow the slowest. But obviously the ones that grow slower, depending on where you're at, will give you way more in the way of material. Is the game worth it? Depends who you are, Ordo. I absolutely love it. For all of the quirks of a small team MMO, it has sucked me in. I've got a stupid amount of hours already logged into it. It's a sense of teamwork that I haven't had an MMO since Star Wars Galaxies. So, well, let's talk about trees. So say those trees over there, probably quality 90 trees that we planted over there. Those will grow up. They'll grow through multiple growth spurts. They'll become minors, eventually go up to majors. If you go up and inspect them by right-clicking on them, there you go, inspect, you can find out what level they're at. You don't want to cut a tree down until it reaches major, meaning it's grown to its full glorious height. and amount of wood that it's going to have. Now, the quality of the tree sapling that you planted, and the quality of the forester who planted it, will dictate. We're inside a warehouse right now. How much wood, how much supplies you get per log. You knock down a tree with your axe, and you'll get one of these hardwood logs. If I inspect this log, I think some of these have already been used a little bit. Yeah, this one's been used a little bit. This has 560 wood remaining. Now, if you're building a house or reinforcing a mine, you're going to want building logs for that. Now, building log takes 100 wood per building log. So for this hardwood log on the ground here, it can be cut into 5 building logs, and I think it's like 6 billets. If I right-click it, it may not show me. Saw out building log or a board or a billet. So that's why you want to let those trees grow to their maximum size. A juniper, if it's a crap quality one, won't even give you enough wood for a single building log. I think it's like 3 building logs for a crap shack house with 1 bind point. So you start getting like an idea of how skill, the skill of what you're doing really affects your end outcome, and how working together matters, because you've got a limited number of skill points. If I can just open this, let's see, a limited number of skill points based on your characteristics. So I think the base number is 400, and then the number of characteristics that you've got. Characteristics is under here. Number of intelligence you've got is extra points that you can add to your skill gains. So, chat, make a boat. I wish I could. They're not in yet. Coming soon, hopefully. Let's see. So my forestry is 60. So whatever tree that I grow will be locked at 60. It won't get better than that until I get a higher skill. And as the higher skill goes, the more lumber that I'll get out of it. So you get more and more material out of it. So that's why you've got to work. The blacksmiths can't do everything. The foresters can't do everything. It's all about that teamwork. Oh, and this is a warehouse. Warehouses have a special ability where if you right-click them, you can actually look into their inventory and see all the bullshit. Wow, you guys have filled this with crap. This is what happens when you have public warehouses. They have a special ability to hold a certain amount of material. Small warehouses can hold, a smaller amount. The big warehouses with regional boards used to make them can hold a crap ton. You can also carry shit in here, like these bits of log or lumber or crates and chests can be brought inside. There is a physicality to the amount of storage you get that I really liked. I always wanted to see that in Star Wars Galaxies. The ability to see the crates of spice that I wanted to be smuggling around and feel like it was a piece of the world and not just an icon sitting in my inventory, right? What? Stone in my backpack from smacking that rock earlier, so. Does the new city have ocean access? I see a lake or a river. Yeah, it does. There are no boats. Word is they maybe will try to get them out sometime, maybe by next year, hopefully. They've managed to get out trade carts, and those work pretty damn well. They can be a little goofy, but you can latch a cart to a horse and carry around a bunch of gear and equipment. It's actually how we moved out here, so it's probably not far-fetched to think that they'd be able to do the same thing with boats and ocean travel. Which, if you look at the map, and like Google the map for this game, you can see how much oceans would be freaking awesome. And if they ever wanted to expand the map and add more servers, I would assume potentially, because every server block is its own server, you could have ocean crossings to go to another continent. That's what I want to see. But this isn't about what I want to see. This is about tips for new players. I'm doing great. Thanks, GB. Oh, it's Gold Gaming's in the chat. Hey, man. We gotta play some Sins again. Can you get sick in this game? This one doesn't have any decorations. Let me go to the other house. Hello, Mr. Rickers. Posting a guard. You can't get sick, but you will notice these random events that pop up in the top right-hand corner. And they're weird. You can get bit by a snake, and I've had reports of players dying. Yeah, he's posting guard out there. Awesome. I've had reports of players dying to having multiple snake bites, because I got bit. My first snake bite was when we first started playing. I think I was streaming, and my health dropped to about half. If you get 2 snake bites and you don't have an antidote on you, it can kill you. So there's these weird little random events where you can like twist your ankle and you'll find that you're not going as fast or you're draining stamina. You can get, I got stung in the eye by a wasp once and my whole screen went blurry. And there'll be these really odd little descriptions in the corner. I kind of like them. I've never been killed by one though, so maybe might change my tune. Let's go up to the top. No, we gotta go through this way and then backtrack. Boats in this game have so much potential. Yes, they do. I absolutely agree. I hope they kind of go the way Worm Online did it, where they had the continent that you're on, and then you could go to like the PvP continent, the RP continent, and they had different rule sets for each one, and you could just sail there. How cool would that be? Absolutely awesome. I thought this had a balcony. Maybe I'm thinking of the smaller, the 12-man house. Yeah, there's a balcony. I'm told putting a bed inside a house makes it so you spawn in the house and not on the roof. I still spawn on the roofs.
Ready to serve.
Let's see out. View distance in this game is amazing. You can see these buildings, these like towers and castles and shit for miles. How does cold affect you? Does it reduce stamina? At the moment, it does not. I know they had experimented with having those kind of mechanics earlier on. I think they removed them just for ease sake of new players spawning in, because you spawn, a lot of the times you'll spawn in the tundra, the desert, and could you imagine if you spawned in and immediately froze to death? How frustrating would that be? So, they do affect you in the way that, yeah, colder areas make crops hard to grow, and they have shorter growing seasons. But I believe they affect tree growth in interesting ways. I'm not sure. We're still experimenting with all that. I can see pirates if they added boats. Yep. Privateers if they're, if they've been given the green light by their kings. So, the game definitely has a very almost EVE Online feel to it when it comes to the larger politics of the game. We've already seen alliances crop up, pretty major ones, and wars have been fought already. There are instant battles. That's kind of more advanced stuff that once you get into the game, you figure out how things work. And those are things that are being, I think, adjusted and tweaked. And then look at the servers that you're wanting to join, because new servers are now cropping up because of the Steam release. I think the PvP servers have faster XP gain. If you're playing on the EU, they've got RP servers over there if you're more interested in that kind of thing. Our server, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of because I butchered it every time I've tried, is this weird mix. Like, they didn't know what they wanted to be when they first came out with it, and then apparently they did a vote with all of the alliances. Of course, they all jumped on, let's do PvP, so now we're getting like 4 freaking judgment hours or some shit like that, which is whatever. It is what it is. It's cool. Ooh, a little bit of rubber banding there. I'm just kind of like watching the city move. I wanted to do a time lapse. The only problem is if I made another account with my other character to run on my second rig to do a time lapse of the city like being constructed and the terraforming, the character would have starved to death. Hey Moya. Yeah, it's just a quick stream to answer some questions for new players. I think that's about it. I think we've about covered everything. So if you enjoyed the video, hopefully it helped you out. There's so much to learn of this game if you're just getting started. Don't get down. Find a good group of players that you like to play with. And, hey guys, and learn from them. Ask them questions. It's very much like that early days of EVE. If you've ever played EVE Online, there's so many mechanics and things to learn, and getting in with other players is probably the fastest and best way of doing it. And not just with us, there's tons of groups out there that may be more your style. So figure out what you want to do in the game and then go for it. There's RP groups, PvP groups, you know, more just like I want to build a kick-ass city groups. So figure out what you want to do. If you enjoyed this video and stream, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more. I almost said sci-fi gaming goodness, Sandbox MMO, sci-fi, and medieval gaming goodness, because now we're all over the place. And I will see you guys in the next stream. And if you have any other questions, maybe I'll do a part 2 to this. Leave them in the comments below. Quick stream today, guys. I'm gonna go take a nap, fight this flu. Later, everybody!